Hello YouTube, welcome. We're at my property here and doesn't matter where I am, but look at how beautiful it is. Sun's going behind the trees, a little shady. Grass needs to be cut, but it'll be all right. And puppy with raw chicken hanging out of her mouth because they eat raw chicken. And what I bring you here for. So 2019 Ram 3500 Demco Autoslide with the Ram puck system. Finally installed. Exciting times. It means I'm completely mobile now. So you can see 351M Grand Design Momentum. Weighs just shy of 14,000 pounds. Get a good shot of how the stripe matches the truck. Yeah, I love it. Let's talk about the Ram a little bit. 2019 Dodge Ram 3500 Patriot Blue Metallic. Every factory option pretty much except the rear air suspension and power running boards. I did not want the rear air suspension. I wanted it leaf sprung because I didn't want to have problems with it in a decade. I did get the big 12-inch screen, which I know I'll have problems with that, but I couldn't pass it up. And I have just under 600 miles on the truck. I picked it up about 10 days ago. I'm very, very impressed. It is like no Dodge Ram I've ever been in. It is quieter, smoother, just more composed. It just feels like a heavy-duty truck on the road. You feel planted the whole time. You can tell it weighs some weight. I'm just now getting the engine broken in, so I've goosed it a couple of times, and when the boost kicks in on the high output turbo, it just absolutely takes off. Throws you back in the seat and takes off. So let's talk a little bit about the Grand Design. Grand Design Momentum, 351M, triple slide, toy hauler, double axle, 14,000 pounds unloaded. As it sits, I haven't ran it across the scale, but if I'm not at 16,000 pounds, I would be extremely, extremely surprised. Haven't taken a trip in it yet. Just got the fifth wheel hitch set up. I've got to do the calculation still, obviously, for the hitch head and between the capture plate. Make sure that that's all the correct sizing so that it auto slides with it. But as we take a look, I greased all the internals before I put it in. The jaw's in the open position, so you can't quite see the lock bar right now, but it is a fully enclosed jaw with an extra lock bar. The Ram puck system, although this is a really heavy hitch, the Ram puck system I'm very happy with. It went right in. I wanted to video it, but it was just so heavy I needed the person that was helping me to lift the hitch up, or to hold it in place instead of holding the camera. It's really easy to install, honestly. I mean, I hand tightened these 4 bolts here, set it in the puck system, locked the cams, and then I went back and torqued everything down once it was actually in the truck to make sure that I had the plates in the proper spacing. I did pull it back out, did come out relatively easy. I do need to put a little bit more probably lithium grease down there in those. But that'll be part of my maintenance. So you can see here the Dodge system is absolutely massive. I have a Super Glide that was supposed to go in an old truck I had. It never made it in. It was a 16,000 pound hitch, so it was right on the verge of being overloaded with the Grand Design Momentum. I sell Super Glides all the time. It's probably the hitch that I recommend the most. The reason that I went with the Demco is specifically because of the capture plate required with the Super Glide. I sell RVs. I work at a dealership. I use my truck to move RVs quite consistently. More than anything because I'm more familiar with my truck than I am with the lot truck. So the tight spaces that we're talking about, I can squeeze them in a little bit better when I'm behind the wheel of my own rig instead of when I'm behind the wheel of a truck that I don't drive all the time. And then also our lot truck is a 8-foot bed dually GMC Sierra crew cab, so it's a little bit longer. The shorter bed crew cabs fit in a little bit more spaces. Now I'm saying that, and I haven't really used this truck for it. I was using my old GMC 1500 for any of the stuff that we were moving around there, and obviously no fifth wheels in that truck because it didn't have the hitch equipment in it. But I'm really excited to see how this tows. I mean, it's a very quality piece. It is very, very heavy. I'm lucky I have a tractor so that I'll be able to take this thing out of here, because honestly, if I didn't, it would probably never leave where you're sitting. And then the ram puck system would make no sense because you're not using it, right? So real quick, let's talk about this is two different setups. You cannot get a Demco Autoslide with the pucks built in. It is actually industry standard rails, just like most of them. This bottom portion here is the puck system for the ram. The Superglide and the Demco both come with puck systems for the Ford and GMC, but their pucks are a lot narrower in the bed of the truck on those two makes. The Ram, they pushed them all the way out to the side rails, and it's probably a reason that they don't put it's probably one of the biggest engineering reasons that they don't put the puck system when you option the Ram boxes, because these things would be right up against it. You know what I mean? Now the frame rails are the same underneath regardless of what options you get, I believe. So I might be totally off base, but it makes a lot of sense to me, because I know that though it takes away a lot of the wheel well. Now as you can see, it's not touching side to side of the wheel well. I have it on the lowest setting, and more than anything because I had a guy pick up an RV with a 2018 Dodge Ram 3500 and a Demco Autoslide. His was set on the middle setting, and it was still towing a little nose high. I don't want that to be the case when I tow my fifth wheel, so I put it on the lowest setting to start. If for any reason it is not the correct setting, you can see right there on the corner the 3 different levels of bolt holes is how you adjust the height on it. This is my first impressions, obviously, putting it in the truck. I've talked to a lot of transport drivers and stuff, the guys that hot shot and bring our fifth wheels to us from Indiana. A lot of them run the Demco because of no capture plate. They also don't use their truck like me. I mean, they're pulling 24/7 pretty much because that's their job. I use the bed of my truck. It's why the puck system was so important to me from the very beginning, is I didn't want industry standard rails in there. The other reason is the ease of installation. I mean, it took me maybe 20 minutes to put the hitch together. It was in 4 different boxes on a pallet. Like I said, it's not light, but it took me maybe 20 minutes to put it together. I set the Ram puck base in place, tightened down all the hardware after it was in place to make sure all the spacing and stuff was correct. We set the side plate, I put the side plates on it, and then we set the fifth wheel hitch in place after putting the head on. It took all of us, all of 2 people to make sure that we didn't scratch the bed or anything like that. Even though it's bed lined, I didn't want to put a big gouge in it. So I guess the most important thing to take away from this conversation is, if you are going to do this, you are going to need an extra set of hands or an A-frame to lift this thing. This thing is incredibly heavy. I am not complaining about the weight. Let me just be clear. I'm not complaining about the weight. The weight means that it's overbuilt, right? It's probably underrated for the 18,000 pounds, especially when you see out there the Anderson hitches that weigh 35 pounds and are rated for 25,000 pounds. Obviously, the component that's going to dictate that is going to be the least weighted component, you know what I mean? And the whole system is going to dictate your tow rating. I think it's probably derated a little bit from 18,000 pounds. There was a 21,000 pound option. It weighed about 80 pounds more. I didn't want that extra weight in my bed, and the 18,000 pounds should be more than enough with any trailer that I intend to purchase in the future. Hopefully this is the last one for a while. But so you can see my setup a little bit. I will be hooking up to it, and I'll include maybe a little bit of a blog on that or a blurb on that tomorrow for the first time, so that I can wash the fifth wheel and just move it around, reposition it in a field, because I'm killing some grass underneath it, even though it does get light. My dogs like to dig under there, puppies, and they're the most spoiled things in the world, so what they get, they want. We just let them do it. Other than that, should tie up pretty much any hitch questions that people have. Expect to spend really close to $2,000 on the Demco Autoslide. It is what it is. Any Superglide's going to cost you that. Like I said, I've got the Superglide in my garage. It's for sale, $1,000. Never been attached, never been used. $1,300 online. So let me know if anybody wants to figure out how to get that from me here in Tennessee, East Tennessee. But the truck is great. Like I said, I've had it for right at 500 miles, and I'm going to wrap this up, but I've had it for right at 500 miles. I absolutely love the truck. It is definitely the nicest truck I've ever owned. And as I've said, I've had Raptors, I've had $80,000 Jeep Wranglers, I've had pretty much everything under the sun. 1,000 horsepower Super Snake Shelby Cobras. Coming from the car business, I had the opportunity to drive, feel, test a lot of different vehicles. And what I will tell you is that I've probably been more impressed by this Dodge Ram than just about anything else on the market that I've ever had the pleasure of seeing, much less owning. You know, it's one of those things where I think everybody evolves over time, obviously. You know, are there some gripes with the center 12-inch display? Yeah, but it might just be that I haven't figured it out yet. I know I need a pair of keys so that it's personalized to me. I haven't done that. You can hear the active shutters in the grill whenever you turn off the truck. You can hear the shutters opening and closing, which I'm still kind of getting used to. And then the other thing is the mirrors are so giant and it's got so many cameras on it that when I'm backing up, I am overwhelmed with places to look, honestly. So I haven't figured out exactly where to look when I'm backing up. It's just one of those things where I haven't figured it out yet, but I will shortly, I'm sure. I can't wait to hook the fifth wheel to it. I want to know what it's going to do to the rear. Is it going to squat it? Is it going to, what's it going to look like? You know what I mean? I pulled a bumper pull trailer the other day, and look at that. Look at that. Tripped off the powder coat. Oh man, I guess that's to be expected. It's a trailer hitch, but man, disappointing. Once again, subscribe to my YouTube channel. PM me if you've got any questions. You can call me, my number's in the comments. Whether it's about the Ram, my experience with Dodge overall, or if it's about a Grand Design Momentum or pretty much any other RV on the market, I've got some experience with it. I'd love to help. Resource of information more than anything. Please do not hesitate. Do not hesitate to contact me. And afternoons like right now is why we live in East Tennessee. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you have any questions, like I said, you know how to contact me. Subscribe to my channel for more upcoming content. I'm going to try to be better on it. Late.